Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we're going to do the detailed review of the new device from Lenovo in India, the Lenovo K10 Note. So Lenovo K10 Note is the latest offering, which is priced 13,999, and this is announced to compete Xiaomi and Realme in India. And this comes with quite good hardware. It has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 710 octa-core processor, 4GB RAM, 4000 mAh capacity battery. The camera is also having a triple setup, 16 megapixel primary camera, 8 megapixel telephoto lens. There is also 16 megapixel selfie camera, full HD plus resolution display. So in terms of specification, it definitely is good. But how good is the device in terms of the performance, and how good is it in terms of the value for money aspect, and how it is able to compete with the Xiaomi and Realme? That's what we're going to do in this detailed review. So let's get started with the detailed review. First step, let's have a look at the design and build quality. Now looking at the front panel design, you can see that it has this notch display, and you can see the bezels on the device is lesser. Both the sides have pretty much lesser bezels. The bottom bezels are also quite okay for the most part, and looks quite good as well. Now you can see the power and volume keys on the right side. Bottom section you have the USB Type-C port, the 3.5mm audio jack, and also the speaker unit. Left side also the SIM tray. Now looking at the back panel, you can see we have a triple view camera setup, 16 and 8 megapixel camera combination. There's a telephoto lens with 2x optical zoom. We have a fingerprint scanner, the Lenovo branding, and this back panel also has a small pattern, and this is made of polycarbonate material. So that's the design aspect. It looks quite okay, but then the design isn't something which is inspiring, or which is something out of the box. So it's kind of traditional design with a triple rear camera setup. The looks could have been slightly better. The build quality is quite okay, but then this is being a polycarbonate material, and also it is offered in just one color. That definitely doesn't help in terms of the looks factor. It's kind of okay, but definitely not the best out there in terms of the looks. You can see that the Redmi Note 7 Pro and even the Realme 5 Pro definitely has much better looks than the Lenovo K10 Note. Also the back panel is prone to scratches because it's a polycarbonate material, so you need to protect it with a case for the device. So that's the design and build quality. So overall it's quite okay in terms of the design and build, definitely not the best out there. Now next, moving on to the display. So we have a 6.3 inches full HD plus resolution display, and display is definitely good on this device. You can see that the display quality is really good. The colors are vibrant, and you can also see the viewing angles are pretty good. The brightness levels are also really improved, and the touch response also feels very smooth. So overall the display is vibrant and colorful and gives it a good feel altogether. But unfortunately there is no protection offered on the display. There is no Gorilla Glass protection, and this device has a pretty good display overall. Next, let's move on to the software. So this device is powered by Android 9.0, and this has a custom UI. It's more or less like stock Android, but this is the ZUI which Lenovo offers in China as well. So this UI has been tuned to Indian audience, so it has no bloatware included. It's more or less stock Android. You don't get any third-party apps, and the UI looks quite stock, but then if you look at the settings panel, it does have some customization offers. Here you can see that some 4D touch is included. Then there is no support for themes as such, but then some additional settings are included. Otherwise it's more or less like stock Android. You can also see the notification centers are like and cube toggles are customized, so it's a different look. And you can see that the UI is not the best experience, but it's still more or less stock Android. It is not having a fully customized UI, nor it's completely stock. It's somewhere in between, and it does a decent job altogether in terms of the experience. And looking at the performance, that's where the device performs pretty well. It is powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 710 octa-core processor. It's either coupled with 4GB RAM or 64GB storage. There is also 6GB RAM and 128GB storage being offered. Now talking about the day-to-day experience, it was quite a smooth experience, no lags whatsoever, and it did respond to all the tasks it was put to. And even in terms of the gaming experience, it was quite good with 4000 mAh large capacity battery. The performance was more or less smooth. We have done a detailed dedicated gaming video of the Lenovo K10 Note. You can also check out that video to get an idea about how the performance is. Now talking about the other aspect, the call quality and sound performance was quite good. Now there is also a fingerprint scanner located on the back panel, which does a quite decent job. It may not be the fastest out there. You can see that it does a pretty decent job altogether. it is definitely not the fastest out there. There is also face unlock included on this device. Now moving on to the cameras. So this device has a triple rear camera setup. We have a primary 16 megapixel camera, a secondary 8 megapixel telephoto lens, and there is also a depth sensor included, and on the front panel we have a 16 megapixel camera. Now looking at the camera samples we have taken with this device, the daylight shots came out pretty good, and when we reviewed the camera on the Lenovo K10 Note, we mentioned that the daylight shots were really good, the details are really good, and colors also look mostly accurate and no oversaturation issues. And the daylight conditions, it did perform pretty well. The close-up shots and also the portrait shots came out pretty well most part. And now talking about the low light performance, it was kind of average, we would say, not the best experience. Even with the night mode, the performance was not stellar or as good as the Redmi Note 7 Pro or other devices in this price segment. So we feel the night performance should have been slightly better overall. But then camera performance is quite decent on the Lenovo K10 Note. So low light performance is not the best. We also have a pretty decent selfie experience as well. Now other downside is that there is no electronic image stabilization offered. That's something which is quite disappointing, because a phone released in 2019 does not have electronic image stabilization offered. Now the device also comes with a 4000 mAh large capacity battery with 18 watt fast charger included out of the box. But then when we tried charging with the 4000 mAh capacity battery with 18 watt fast charger, the charging time was kind of high. More than 2 hours it took to charge the 4000 mAh capacity battery, which by 18 watt fast charging is definitely on the high side. So the fast charging definitely is not really as fast as we would have liked, even with the 18 watt charger. So that's the battery charging time. Now the battery performance as such looks good. You can get slightly more than a day with the moderate usage. 1.5 days is gettable with the 4000 mAh capacity battery. So that was a detailed review of the Lenovo K10 Note. So how good is the device? So what are the pros and cons? The pros include good display. It's pretty good, vibrant, colorful display. Then performance is good, gaming is pretty good. The daylight shots with the cameras are really good, and also the battery life is pretty good. Now the downsides include the looks are slightly dated. It's not the best looking device out there. Then Snapdragon 710 is slightly an outdated processor. 712 has already been launched, so in that aspect it's slightly outdated, but not a major issue though. And also the low light camera performance was sluggish, and no 4K, no EIA support included. That's again one of the downsides for the Lenovo K10 Note. So how good is a Lenovo K10 Note for 13,999 pricing? So Lenovo K10 Note is a good offering with a good overall package with the Snapdragon 710 and 4000 mAh capacity battery, decent cameras. But when you look at the whole perspective of 13,999 priced device, that's where the Redmi Note 7 Pro makes much better offering with the more powerful the Snapdragon 675 and 48 megapixel camera. So that's where the Redmi Note 7 Pro takes the lead. But overall Lenovo K10 Note is a good offering in this price segment. So that's it for this video. This is Nirmal signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.